What is a peptic ulcer? As the name suggests, a peptic ulcer refers to a break in the mucous membrane in the digestive tract. These ulcers develop typically in the lining of the first part of the duodenum or in the lesser curvature of the stomach. The lining of the digestive tract is called the mucosa. This mucosal lining ultimately protects the stomach from gastric acid through the production of bicarbonate-rich mucus, which serves to neutralize the high concentration of acid. You might have heard that the peptic ulcers could be stress-induced or a consequence of eating very spicy food. However, this is not the case. In fact, there are three main causes of peptic ulcers. Let's take a look at them. The first cause, which is the most common, is due to the bacteria called Helicobacter pylori. H. pylori produces an enzyme called urease, whose function is to break down urea into ammonia and carbon dioxide. This influx of ammonia damages the mucosal cell's viability and leads to its damage. Mucosal cells continuously secrete mucus and function as a mechanical barrier against gastric acid. So if these cells are damaged, the lining of the stomach weakens, allowing gastric acid to seep through beneath and cause ulcerations. The second cause is excessive hydrochloric acid secretion, which occurs most commonly in the disease called Zerlinger-Ellison syndrome. The tumors developed by this syndrome are made up of cells that produce abnormal amounts of gastrin. This increase in gastrin in turn stimulates parietal cells to produce excess amounts of hydrochloric acid, more than the body can resist, ultimately damaging the mucosa and leading to peptic ulcer formation. The third cause is due to anti-inflammatory drugs. These drugs inhibit the enzyme cyclooxygenase, which is involved in the production of inflammatory prostaglandins, which have cytoprotective effects in the gastric mucosa. This prolonged and increased suppression of prostaglandins leaves the lining of the stomach susceptible to ulcerations. But how do I know if I have one of these ulcers? The main symptoms of a peptic ulcer is abdominal pain, accompanied by a burning or aching sensation below the rib cage. Nausea, vomiting, and bloating are also quite common. In order to treat these peptic ulcers, you will need to know the underlying cause. Upper endoscopies, where a doctor looks at the inner lining of the digestive tract, can be used to see these ulcers. Additionally, biopsies could be done to see signs of the bacteria. If it's due to H. pylori, antibiotics are optimal to kill it. If it's due to NSAID drugs, then one must reduce the intake of these drugs and take oral antacids, which neutralizes the stomach acid. And if it's due to excess HCl, H2 blockers or proton pump inhibitors are effective in blocking the secretion of hydrogen ions from parietal cells of the stomach. In order to prevent the possibility of having a peptic ulcer or increasing the severity of one, lifestyle changes should be implemented. This includes reducing the intake of alcohol, tobacco, and caffeine, and ensuring regular hygiene practices are put into place to protect yourself from infection. Remember to not ignore your ulcer symptoms. For more information, visit these sites below and contact your local